Hi folks, Derek Clark from the Rangers Review here. Now Michael Beale has given his pre-Aberdeen press conference ahead of tomorrow's game at Ibrox, and here are the big talking points. He was asked first of all for an update on Kamar Roofe, who never appeared for the second half of the League Cup quarter-final win over Livingston due to a groin strain. On Kamar, he says he's away for a scan, so no news on that one at the moment. At the minute, he didn't train today with the rest of the team. Are you optimistic he can feature this weekend? He was asked. Until we hear back from the scan, we don't know what we are dealing with. It's disappointing for Kamar because he came back into the team and did so well until the other night. Let's just hope it's nothing too serious and he'll be available in the short term rather than the long term. And then he was asked to clarify if tomorrow was too soon. And he said, yeah. Just on the back of that as well, just at the end of the press conference, he was asked if he played with an injury for part of the first half. Michael Beale said, listen, when I spoke to him after the game, he said he felt it halfway through the first half. I would like him to hold his hands up. He felt he could continue on. In halftime, I asked him if there was an issue, and he said, yes. We came out in the second half and did not take a risk with him. It was not a typical Kamar performance. Obviously, Sam and Abdallah were getting more touches. He was a bit quiet in the game, and he was obviously a bit stiff in his groin, which is an area that has never been an issue before, and it is what it is. With the scheduled amount of games that we are playing, that is why you have a big squad, because these things will appear from time to time. He was then asked on the back of that, was it his injury record that pushed him to play on? I don't know, as I think he knows at the moment the team are living it. It is a cup quarter final, and he wants the team to do well. I am sure if he felt he had to stop, then he would have stopped. Kamar is an experienced player, and when he gets on to halftime, he has a conversation, and no problem. We have Dessers to come on. It is a quarter-final, as he told you the day before, and it's a competition we are desperate to win. So I do not think he wanted to come off until we get to the stoppage and we have the conversation. Well, Michael Beale was also asked for injury updates on Nico Raskin, Kieran Dowell, Todd Cantwell, and Danilo. He said there's no change on either of them. Danilo's still not back to see a consultant yet, so we'll have more news after that. He has to wait a couple of weeks after the surgery, which is not until the middle or start of next week. Todd's not back with the group yet. Nico's back out with the rehab team, and Kieran Dowell joined in with very light training this morning, but the weekend's far too soon. He's also asked about Tom Lawrence, if he'll be available after the international break. And he said, yeah, at this moment, he is the same. He was also asked about taking on Aberdeen tomorrow and if he expects the Dons to open up. He says they're a team that built around their front two. They've got good players. They've come off an important week for them. I thought they performed very well in Europe. It was a defeat, but in terms of the performance, it'll give them a lot of encouragement. And then they've beaten Ross County twice this week, so they come into it the same as us. Their front two have caused us problems in the past as well from last season. The games have always been close, and we know there's always a little bit of edge in the air, and it's the same between the fans, which I think is healthy as well. Interestingly, he was asked about Ben Davies and keeping 4 clean sheets in the past 4 games heading into tomorrow's match. He says, I think during the international break, it was an area we wanted to look at. Obviously, we just conceded big goals in big games that were partly our doing. So as a group, there was a focus on our out of possession, our pressing, our shape, our distances, and there's been a lot of focus on the team's rhythm in possession. A lot of what we have to allow those relationships, and we still are, to form. But defensively, we feel we could pull ourselves together as a team. So I've been pleased with that. Ben coming back in has been part of that. The reason he hadn't played prior was because he ended last season with an injury and came back to pre-season with a separate one. So he's only been available for these games. I've been pleased with him. It's been a real team effort, not just him. He was asked as well later on in the press conference, there was some noise over the summer about Davies leaving the club. How close was that to happening? He said, when I came into the club, Ben had played the first 17 or 18 games straight. Our record at that time, if you remember, was very strong. He built a relationship with Connor Goldson very quickly. At the end of the season, he was injured and he came back with another injury. There was a lot of noise in the air about us looking for another left-sided centre-back, so I think people got confused with us wanting to replace Ben. We just wanted another left-sided centre-back because when he was injured last season, we had to play with people on the wrong side, and I wanted balance. My relationship with Ben has always been strong. We had some honest conversations about where he can improve, but as he said himself, it was never in the plans to sell him. You also have to have an offer that is right, and I think with every club, player in Scotland, if the offer is right, then you listen. There was never an offer there, and Ben was just focusing on getting fit, if I'm honest. So there was no interest, but there was interest, but not. The interest was not there, and Ben wanted to be here, which was a key thing for me, as it was a season of change. I wanted to make sure we had the right people in the building, and with Ben's play, I did not think anyone questions him. I think his performances over the last 4 games have been excellent, and he has shown his worth. So I think all that noise needs to disappear if he keeps playing like that. The first 20 games should have proven that, really, because he played in every single one of them. So there you go. That was some of the big takeaways from Michael Beale's press conference earlier on. If you want to keep up to date with all the latest news coming out of Ibrox or watch that press conference in full, be sure to subscribe to the Rangers Review YouTube channel. And you can also find Sam Lammers' press conference on there as well. Bye for now.